This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Gimire with the news, the headlines first. Government declares National Day of Mourning for today in honor of the 10 Nepalese killed in terrorist attacks in Israel. Families of deceased to receive 1 million rupees each as relief amount. Nepali embassy facilitates repatriation efforts for deceased victims of Israel attacks. Parliamentarians demand government for the early rescue of Nepalese in Israel. And Israel orders complete cease of Gaza as rocket attacks continue. Now the news in detail. The government has announced a national day of mourning for today in honor of Nepali citizens killed in an attack by Hamas militants in Israel. Government spokesperson and Communication Minister Rekha Sharma said an emergency cabinet meeting held at Singh Durbar declared National Day of Mourning for today and decided to fly the national flag at half-mast in government offices across the country and diplomatic missions abroad in the honor of the 10 deceased Nepalese. Communication Minister Sharma further said the government decided to provide 1 million rupees each as relief amount to the families of those killed in Israel. The government spokesperson also stated that the concerned agencies were directed to make arrangement for the return of Nepalese from the conflict zone in Israel if they wish to return to Nepal. Similarly, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will coordinate with the government of Israel to bring the bodies of Nepalese back. Minister Sharma added that the Nepali embassy in Israel will collect the details of Nepalese willing to return home, for which the chartered flights of Nepal Airlines and Himalaya Airlines will be arranged. The Nepali embassy in Tel Aviv, Israel, has initiated efforts in collaboration with the Israeli government to repatriate the bodies of 10 Nepali youths who fell victim to terrorist attacks in the region. The embassy disclosed that 4 other Nepali individuals sustained injuries in the attacks and are currently undergoing treatment in the local hospitals, while 2 survivors have been securely placed in Tel Aviv. In the wake of this tragic development, a press release issued by the embassy has reported the launch of a search operation in conjunction with local authorities, including the police and hospitals, to locate a missing Nepali youth. Concurrently, the embassy, in cooperation with the Agriculture Orientation Center, Israeli Security Mechanism, and Nepali organizations, is engaged in the relocation of Nepali students stranded in the agricultural farms along the Israel-Gaza border to safer locations. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda yesterday talked with Nepali students who are trapped in a bunker in the war-torn Israel. Prime Minister Dahal, from the Office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, held a conversation with Bipin Subedi, a Nepali student taking refuge in a bunker in Israel to escape attacks by Hamas. According to the Prime Minister's personal secretary, Ramesh Malla, the Prime Minister asked the Nepali students not to panic, as the government would soon rescue them. Meanwhile, President Ramchandra Paudel has expressed his concern over matters pertaining to the rescue and safe return of Nepalese in Israel. The President summoned Foreign Affairs Minister N.P. Saud to his office yesterday and inquired about the situation of the Nepalese in Israel. The all-party meeting called by Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda yesterday discussed the matters related to death of Nepalese in Israel and affected ones. Leaders participating in the meeting held at Singh Durbar said the Prime Minister briefed the meeting about the rescue efforts of the Nepalese in Israel and the progress made so far. After the meeting, CPN-UML leader Ishwar Pokhrel said the Prime Minister informed about the situation of Nepalese in Israel and the suggested government move ahead in a balanced way. In another tragic incident yesterday, a mini-truck accident at Nesing Khola in Amacho Chodingmo Rural Municipality, Raswa District, resulted in the immediate death of 3 individuals while 5 others sustained injuries. According to the DSP of Nepal Police, Subhas Burathoki, who is also the chief of the District Police Office Raswa, the deceased were identified as Akal Bahadur Tamang, Purbu Chewang, and Pemba Dolma Tamang. The Public Account Committee of the Federal Parliament has issued directive to the government to make arrangement for every shop keeping the price list and mandatorily issuing bill and invoice. A meeting of the committee held yesterday also instructed the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies to make arrangements for opening fair price shops at every local level. It has issued directive to the government to provide progress report to the committee within 1 month whether or not the directives have been implemented. Newly appointed European Union Ambassador to Nepal, Veronique Lorenzo, has said the European Union would continue its support for Nepal's development, including the enforcement of the Constitution, and the federal governance system. Talking to journalists in Kathmandu yesterday, the European Union ambassador also expressed her commitments to assisting Nepal to achieving prosperity, ensuring continuity of its assistance to Nepal in the areas of quality education, climate change, sustainable development, and promotion of the energy sector. The government opened advanced ticket booking for long and medium routes yesterday, targeting passengers going to their homes in districts outside the Kathmandu Valley for the upcoming Dasai, Tihar and Chhath festivals. However, ticket booking for short routes will be open from Ghatasthapana, which is the first day of the 15-day-long Dasai festival, which this year falls on the 15th of October. The number of passengers at the bus park is said to have increased this year as opposed to previous years. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Now on to an international update. Israel's defense minister orders a complete siege of the Gaza Strip and the cutting off of food, fuel, electricity and water supplies. It comes 2 days after shock attacks in Israel by Hamas militants left hundreds of civilians dead. According to the BBC, 9 U.S. citizens are now confirmed dead, while more than 10 British citizens are feared dead or missing. Rocket attacks from Gaza targeting Israel are set to be continuing, with explosions heard in Jerusalem. Israel says it has regained control of its communities near Gaza, but some militants remain active. More than 700 people have been killed in Israel since Saturday, including 260 people massacred by Hamas gunmen at a music festival. Dozens of people were also kidnapped, and Hamas claims 4 of the hostages were killed by airstrikes in Gaza. More than 500 people are said to have died in Gaza since Israel began striking the area. Now the general weather forecast for the country for today. According to the Meteorological Forecasting Division, the weather will be partly to generally cloudy in Kosi Province, Madhya Province, Bagmati Province and Gandaki Province, and partly cloudy to mainly fair in the rest of the country. With this, we have almost come to the end of this news bulletin. But before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Government declares National Day of Mourning for today in honor of the 10 Nepalese killed in terrorist attacks in Israel. Families of deceased to receive 1 million rupees each as relief amount. Nepali Embassy facilitates repatriation efforts for deceased victims of Israel attacks. Parliamentarians demand government for the early rescue of Nepalese in Israel. And Israel orders complete siege of Gaza as rocket attacks continue. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website, www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.